Hello, Rebecca here. Thanks so much for joining me on your mat today. Today's practice will be a slow yin flow. We will stay lower to the ground, hit all the body parts from the tops of our heads to the soles of our feet. Let's get ready for the practice. I want you to imagine, before we close our eyes or soften our gazes, I want you to imagine your mind as a snow globe. And that everything that has happened thus far in our day or earlier this week, or something that we maybe are thinking about in the future, those are all times where the glitter, the snow gets kicked up from experiences, whether it's our pets, our neighbors, our jobs, or simply having seen something, maybe a car, or heard a sound that reminded us of something that transported us forward or backward in time. Our job here on our mats is to let all of that settle so that we really start to listen to the body, starting to hear those whispers of the heart versus the noisiness of the mind. Find a comfortable seat, a tall spine, closing the eyes or softening the gaze. We begin just to draw the breath in and out through our nostrils. Imagining our head space, our minds, like a snow globe. And starting to see those particles of snow, glitter, dropping down to the surface. In our mind's eye, seeing our head space clear, become still, like this perfect reflecting glass or the surface of a lake. And letting the ripples diminish as we soften and slow down and we tap into our parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest. Relax your arms down along your sides. 3 breaths with the arms. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, arms fall. 2 more, your own pace. Gently fluttering the eyes open, we will begin in a child's pose. Either knees wide or knees parallel. Drop your hips towards your heels. Reach your arms forward or reach your arms toward your hands towards your heels. And drop your forehead down to the floor, or if it does not reach comfortably, you could use a block or a blanket. 3 deep breaths, breathing into the back side of your lungs, your rib cage, your heart, your shoulders, your low back, mid back. Rise up through tabletop. Warming up our wrists, we will begin by shifting the shoulders forward and taking circles out over the wrist, the shoulders circling over the wrist. Bringing some weight into the pinky edge side, the tips of the fingers, the thumb, and also the heel of the hand. Reverse the circle. Bring the heels of the hands to face one another, fingers out to the long edge of your mat, and shift the shoulders side to side. And then if it's available on the body, flipping the top of the hand, pressing down into your mat, fingers toward the center of your mat. And pause here, take a deep inhale and exhale. Draw your fingers toward one another, making a fist, and then reach the fingers out. Make a fist and reach the fingers out. Let's do that 3 more times. And bringing your hips to your heels, shake it out, let it go. Puppy pose. Come back through a tabletop. Keep your hips over your knees. Reach your arms forward, lengthen through the spine and the side bodies. So very similar to a child's pose, but the hips are lifted versus pressing back to the heels. The forehead, the heart melt down toward the floor. Again, you could use a block underneath the forehead. If you can, you could try to place your chin on the floor, gazing forward if it's available, or maybe even the chest. Tailbone lifted. Take a couple of deep breaths. Sphinx pose, shift the weight forward, the hips come down, the elbows stack underneath the shoulders, the forearms press down, the top of the head lifts. If you feel tightness in the head, neck, shoulders, you could simply move head side to side or drop the chin down. And then lift the chin. Just taking these gentle movements to remind your neck and your shoulders to relax. If you would like to deepen this back bend, you could extend the arms, taking the bend out of it. This is not going to work for all of us. It might feel like compression or pain in the low back, and you do not want this. So choosing the version that works best for you. And use the breath to let those contents of the mind drop down and settle. And slowly lower. Right hand is going to move to the right side of your space, palm pressing down. We're going to roll onto the right side for a little open wing. Option to take left foot into left hand for a little quad stretch. And release. Coming back onto your belly, hands underneath your shoulders, press into palms and knees, press back, child's pose. Rise up through a high kneel. Reach your arms, your fingertips up toward the sky. Right arm reaches back, left arm reaches forward. Stay here, or option to take half camel. You could keep the tops of the toes pressing down on the right side, or tuck the toes, lift the heel, right hand to your heel, and left arm reaches up and over. Left hand comes down onto your mat for a twisted table. Right arm reaching up toward the sky. Make a fist with right hand and circle out through your wrist. And switch the direction. Stretch right fingertips out wide and then exhale, thread. Right arm underneath left. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale to thread. Inhale, lift. Last time, exhale, we're going to hold it here. And dropping right shoulder down toward the floor, maybe the side of the head to the floor or a block. Left arm can reach forward. You can take it out to the side as a little kickstand or take it behind the back, grabbing a hold of right hip crease, maybe some clothing. Slow, steady breath, letting the contents of the mind drop down. Still the waters. And maybe we don't get it to complete stillness. Maybe it's just some tiny little ripples. We're just taking the contents in a different direction, mindfully with awareness, slowing it down. And then we'll release our twist coming into bird dog. Right arm reaches forward, left leg reaches back, elbow to knee. Reach it forward and back, elbow to knee. Reach, exhale, elbow to knee. Last time we're gonna reach, hold it here, option to bend that left knee, right hand grabbing a hold of the foot or ankle if it's available. Pressing hips forward, broadening across the collarbones. And release. Left knee comes down. We're going to come into modified side plank. Left foot will sweep over to the edge of our mat. Right toes to the back. Right arm up toward the ceiling. Shoulder blades stacked. Top of the head presses away from right toes. And then option to take a side bend here, reaching right hand forward. Getting really long through that right hand side. Come back through table, right foot steps between the hands. Send the knee forward of the toes, and then press the hips back. Just simply rock forward and back. Start to warm up into our ankle, the dorsiflexion. A couple more times. Hands come inside of right foot, heel toe right foot out a little bit wider, and take some circles here with the hips, maybe dropping that right knee out to the side and then taking it back to center. And you can reverse that circle. Holding runner's lunge. Now options here, you can stay high. You could make this a more active runner's lunge and tuck those back toes, lifting the back knee. You can keep the knee down. You could come down onto forearms. Finding the just right position for your body. Deep, slow, steady breaths. Letting all that mental clutter drop down and settle. Allowing yourself to be here now. If you've come to your forearms rising back up, we will take this into a lounge lizard or horizons lunge. So we're going to take another side body stretch. That left hand is going to come a little forward on your mat. You're going to roll onto the pinky edge side of left foot and drop that left hip down toward the floor. Right arm reaches toward the back of your space. You might take that left hand further forward. Maybe even play with letting that left shoulder hike up towards your ear and get even longer and stretched out here on this left-hand side. Think about opening up through the rib cage like gills. Bring it back to center. Heel toe right foot over to the left pigeon pose. Squaring your hips toward the top of your mat, your shoulders. You might place a block underneath the right hip to create more stability in the pelvis. You can stay upright or come on down to a sleeping pigeon. Rising up, come onto right hip and open out to the long edge of your mat for half butterfly. Left hand will slide toward left foot. Right arm will reach up and over. As you reach that right arm up, notice if your right hip has gotten lighter, press it down. Roll right shoulder blade onto your back. Your gaze could be up toward the ceiling, the horizon, or down toward the floor. Choose what's right for your neck and your shoulders. Slow, steady breaths. Rise. Right hand comes back behind, left arm is going to lift. Finding a little seated back bend here, or option to press into right shin, left heel, stargazer. And bring it back down. Tabletop, child's pose. If you did knees wide, maybe play with knees parallel this time. Contents of the mind settle. Deepen the breath, encouraging the stillness in our minds so that we can become better listeners to our bodies, to our hearts. Slow rise through tabletop. This time, inhale, cow pose. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the tailbone. Exhale, cat. A couple more times at your own pace. If you want to add in some organic movement, feel free to explore here. One more inhale and exhale. Puppy pose. Keep your hips stacked on your knees. Reach the arms forward. Heart, forehead, chin melt to the floor. Sphinx, coming onto forearms, hips come down, legs ground. Press down into forearms, lift the top of your head. Draw your shoulder blades down and away from your ears. You can move the head here if you're feeling tightness in the neck, the shoulders. You can deepen this back bend if you would like, taking a bend out of the elbows. Bringing it all the way down, open wing. Left hand to the left side of your space, palm pressing down, roll onto the left side. Bending right knee, right toes over to the left side. Option for a quad stretch, grabbing a hold of right foot or ankle. Kicking the foot into the hand. Release, bring it back to center onto your belly. Hands under the shoulders, pressing into palms and knees. Press up, press back, child's pose. Rise up to knee stand. Arms reach high. Open twist to the left. Left arm reaches back, right arm reaches forward. Can either press into the tops of those left toes, option to tuck the toes, and then half camel, left hand to left heel, right arm reaches up and over. Hips press forward, heart opens. Back through our open twist. Right hand comes down. Twisted table. Left arm is reaching up. Make a fist with left hand. Circle out the wrist. And then reverse that circle. Spread the fingers wide. Exhale. Thread the needle. Left arm threads underneath right. And then inhale, open and twist. Exhale, thread. Inhale, open. Last time, exhale, thread and hold. Options for that right arm, either reaching forward, kickstanding off to the right hand side, or taking a half bind. Right hand to left hip crease. And then we will rise back up to our table to bird dog. Left arm reaches forward, right leg back. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, reach. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, reach. Exhale, elbow to knee. This last time, we're going to reach it forward. Bending right knee, draw the heel towards your butt. Option for tiger pose, grabbing a hold of your foot or ankle. And then release. Modified side plank. Right foot comes over to the right side of your space. Left toes to the back of your mat. Left arm up toward the sky. Shoulders stack. Top of the head presses away from your toes. Option here for a full side body stretch. Tabletop, left foot steps forward between the hands and then rocking the hips forward and back. Bringing this movement into our foot and ankle as we drive the knee forward. A couple more times. Left hand comes inside of left foot, heel toe that left foot out a little wider, and then we're going to do just some hip circles here. The same rocking forward and back and taking the knee forward out to the side and around, and then reverse that circle, take it in the other direction. Your runner's lunge variation, it might be staying high here, it might be tucking the back toes and the knee, it might be adding on, coming down to the forearms. Horizons lunge. We're going to roll onto the pinky edge side of that left foot. We're going to open up to the left side of our space. And then arranging that right arm, you might need to take it a little further forward. Let that right shoulder hike up towards your ear as right hip drops down toward the floor. Left hand could reach to the back of your space. Big side body stretch here on the right hand side. Opening up through the side gills, the rib cage. These muscles of inhalation, inspiration. And release pigeon pose. We're going to heel toe that left foot over to the right hand side, squaring hips and shoulders forward. You could place a block underneath that left hip for more stability at the base of your spine, your sacrum. Maybe you fold this forward. Modification for pigeon would be figure 4 on your back. And transition to half butterfly. Bring the weight onto that left hip. We're going to open ourselves out to the right side of our space, half butterfly. Right hand slides toward right foot, left arm reaches up and over. If that left hip gets light, press it back down onto your mat. Roll and draw left shoulder blade back. Find a comfortable gaze, position for your head, your neck. You're not forcing or straining anything through the neck and the shoulders. Rising up, left hand comes back behind us. Right arm reaches up toward the sky. Perhaps you stay here or you press into that left shin, right heel. Lift your hips, stargazer. Heart opens. Bring the hips back down. Let's come to a seat, facing the top of your space. Closing the eyes down once again. If anything got stirred up in the mind's eye, if that snow globe got cloudy, I want you to imagine all the glitter and the snow dropping down again. Stillness. Slow, steady breaths. Bringing palms to heart center, reminding to be guided by our hearts. Thanking ourselves for showing up. Harium Tat Sat.